record this, right? All right, so what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna try to do some sessions now that I think all of us are fairly comfortable with this platform and using it, just to get you guys some information when you guys can join us, all right? If you all have other things going on, not just like school related and work related and all that kind of stuff, but personally too, don't stress about trying to get to this stuff. Okay, this stuff is not that important, but it's an opportunity to get you guys some information about things, to get to know each other a little bit, to get to talk to each other a little bit, see each other's faces, which I think kind of helps that whole getting to know each other bonding process and all that kind of thing. So, but like I said, don't stress about it if you can't get to this stuff. We're going to try to do some during the day here at lunchtime, and then also some in the evening times where we'll kind of do some more fun stuff too, either do some kind of online game stuff or have some happy hours or just do some stuff to get to know each other a little bit. And the team, the residents will be helping us out with some of those as well. But this is meant for you guys, okay? So if you guys find that this stuff is not helpful, let me know. Okay, I don't want to waste you guys' time at all. If you feel like, man, this is just belaboring points that I can't even focus on it right now, that's okay. All right, so don't worry about stuff at all. Like I said, what we're going to do is we'll record all this stuff. Any of the stuff that I show you guys in all these kind of meeting things that we do together, we'll send you guys. So you'll get a lot of documentation sent to you by email. So if you end up changing your email, because I know a lot of people are using their school email addresses. So if you end up changing to a personal email or anything like that, just let Ashley know, let me know, so we can make sure we have up-to-date stuff for you. All right. But we'll send you guys some of the information we talk about here. And like I said, too, we'll also end up in that email, if we end up sending you stuff, we'll include the YouTube link to our YouTube channel. So you guys can always go back. And if you did miss something, or if you have to jump out early or anything like that, you can go back and hear about what we talked about. Okay. So as we get started, the first thing I want to do is find out what everybody had for lunch today. Did everybody have lunch? Yes or no? Shaking heads, yes or no? Mallory didn't, Milop didn't, Elizabeth didn't. Okay, Alyssa's eating hers. Max had his. Sonal, Alyssa. Okay. All right. So we're going to go in alphabetical order here, okay? As best I can to do this by last name. I'm going to mess this up. I'm so going to mess this up. But okay, Alyssa, you're first. What did you have for lunch, if anything, or what's the last thing you ate?
I am going to have a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Okay. Nobody's going to beat that in terms of what she's chosen. All right, Jake, you're up next.
I had some leftover pizza.
Okay, what kind?
It was some pizza that we just made here at home.
Oh,
pretty tasty.
Homemade pizza. That's hardcore. Oh gosh. All right, Max, I think you're up next.
I had some leftovers from last night, some grilled chicken salad.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right. Noah, you're up next.
I had a bowl of Life cereal.
Bowl of Life cereal. There you go. All right, Gabe, you were driving a car. Do not wreck right now.
Hey, what's up? I had some scrambled eggs for breakfast, and then I've just been having snacks for lunch.
All right, you be careful driving that car. Do not pay attention to us. You pay attention to what's going on in front of you. All right, Alyssa D.
I'm having a grilled chicken Caesar wrap.
Oh, delicious. All right, Elizabeth, you're up.
I also had scrambled eggs for breakfast.
Okay. Well, we know what you guys are going to be getting from the cafeteria then for breakfast. When it's time for breakfast. All right, let's see. Who's next? I'm going to miss one here. Okay, Mallory, you're up.
I had apple cinnamon Cheerios for breakfast this morning.
Okay.
It's usually Cheerios every morning.
You guys got to get some lunch in you. It's getting late in the day to not have lunch. All right,
11:30 in Alabama, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Central time. Good point.
I just had cinnamon rolls. Like, I'm at the pinnacle of health right now.
Awesome. All right, Sana, what'd you have?
I just scarfed down a grilled market salad from Chick-fil-A. It was good.
Oh, the healthy option from Chick-fil-A.
I'm trying.
All right, and Katie, you're up.
Leftover shrimp hibachi.
Oh, delicious. All right. Ashley, I already know what Ashley had. There's no doubt in my mind what Ashley had. Go ahead.
Well, I haven't eaten yet, but of course I have a salad in the refrigerator waiting on me. So
nice.
My salad and yogurt every day.
Every single day. There's never a doubt about what Ashley has to eat every single day. It's a salad and yogurt. Well, I'm waiting to build my own salmon salad right now from leftover salmon from last night. So that's what I'm going to have. But anyway. All right. So what we're going to do next is hopefully you guys have seen everybody in the class. If not, I'm going to pop a picture up here real quick. So you're going to see me. Whoops. Share my screen here real fast so that everybody can see. And again, we're going to send all this stuff out to you guys. That screen, there we go, as we go. And so you guys will see different people, obviously. This is when we're at our best, right? As we're taking our professional pictures to get ready for interview season. This is the best you'll probably ever look, right? At least professionally. And so this is the class of people you're going to live your lives with for the next 3 years. And we're really, really excited to have you guys all coming to join us here this summer and become a part of the family. So we could not be more ecstatic about all of you guys coming to join us. And I know all of our faculty and all of our residents were so excited when we did our big reveal on match day. So anyway, I wanted to make sure everybody could see this. And like I said, we'll send this out to you guys if we haven't gotten it out to you guys yet to be able to see who everybody is. But let me switch gears here. We're going to go here. You guys have to look at my new baby. Sorry. We just had a baby. Let me swap screens. We didn't just have, my wife just had a baby, let's be honest. I did none of the work and still did very little of the work. So what we'll do is we'll go through some stuff here. This is Nell. This is my daughter. So she is 3 weeks old as of midnight tonight. So you guys will get to see a lot of her as you go through things, and you'll get to see her grow up. But you know, I think that's a part of becoming part of this family, is getting to know each other and each other's families, significant others, and all that kind of stuff. So we're excited not only for you guys to be joining us, but also your significant others when you guys come to join us here. So anyway, I wanted to introduce you guys to her, since all the other residents have met her already, and wanted to make sure you guys got to see her too. So we'll go through some stuff here, just kind of as an overview of what's going on and kind of things to know about, just broad overview. But I don't want to spend too much time going into this stuff. We'll send a lot of it. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about just what residency in my mind entails, and also hear from you guys what you think residency is going to be like, what your expectations are, what you think it entails, just that kind of stuff. Because I feel like it's really good to hear, you know, what your experiences have been, but also what your expectations are as you come to join the program. So we'll talk a lot more about this stuff. Some of this stuff is very much just superficial, that we'll send stuff out to you as we go. One of the things that you guys will see is we have developed, and this is something Dr. Taylor did many years ago, was he actually developed a pediatric resident academic contract, which is a lot different than the contract that you guys all signed. And thank you guys for all doing that already. I really appreciate that. Getting paperwork done is super helpful. We're working on getting you guys your license for South Carolina as well. And so having paperwork done and signed and all that kind of stuff is super helpful for us. But this is an academic contract that we actually ask each one of our residents to sign. It is non-binding. It doesn't really mean anything. All it is a way for us to feel like you guys are invested, and to feel like you guys are bought into the principles of what being a resident is, and really to outline for you guys what our expectations are for you guys as residents. And it's real generic stuff. I hate to say that. It is generic, it is boring, but it's something that we feel like is really, really valuable to hold yourself accountable. It's something very similar to what Dr. Taylor asks a lot of our program leadership to commit to every single year when he meets with them. And so we're going to send this to you guys. I want you guys to look it over and think about it and digest it. And really and truly, as you look it over when we send it out to you, if you have questions about what things mean, reach out to me, reach out to Ashley, reach out to Dr. Edwards or Dr. Gray. If you have concerns about things and what it means, just let us know, because I think this is something that when you guys get here, we're going to ask you guys to sign. You don't have to. If you don't sign it, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change anything. But we feel like this is a way to show your commitment to being a resident physician, because that's what you guys are now. I know it's scary to think of. You are no longer students. You are physicians. Hooray, hooray. But that comes with a ton of responsibility and a lot of privilege too. And so that's something that we're going to send out to you. And again, I want you guys to look at it. And I already see some things I got to change here. Like it says Palmetto Health. We're no longer Palmetto Health. But something to know. And a lot of it has to do with stuff that isn't even going to affect you this year. It's going to be things that affect you in your second year, in your third year, and time moving forward. And like I said, it's very, very kind of broad in terms of what it encompasses. So I'm going to go through just a couple of things with regards to rotations to help you guys hopefully remind yourself a little bit about what rotations you can expect us to have in the upcoming year for you, and really what those rotations entail. You guys are going to forget all this stuff, okay? So please don't try to remember it. You're going to forget it all. I guarantee it. But this just shows you the breakdown of rotations in terms of what rotations you are going to do during your first year and how they're broken down. So you guys will do 4 inpatient rotations on our inpatient ward service during your first year. 2 of those will be broken up into 2-week blocks of nights and 2-week blocks of days. So you have 2 split block rotations on the wards and 2 just days rotations on the wards. You'll have 2 rotations in Chalk, which is our Children's Hospital outpatient clinic, and that is just in the outpatient clinic, spending time out there with the general faculty in our outpatient clinic. You'll do Hematology Oncology for a block for 4 weeks on the inpatient side of things. You'll do a block of Developmental Pediatrics where you actually not only spend time with our developmentalists, but you also spend time with our pediatric psychiatrists in the inpatient setting, but also in the outpatient setting, and spend some time, I think, with our PM&R doctor, one of our physical medicine and rehabilitation specialists, to see what she does and doing baclofen injections and Botox and all that kind of fun stuff. So you'll get to spend some cool time with them. You'll spend time with psychologists, school psychologists. So it's a really kind of cool outpatient based rotation. You'll spend a block in the NICU and a block in the PICU. Hooray, hooray. Don't forget, nobody's getting thrown right into the PICU. So don't worry about it. You got plenty of time. It won't be until the second half of the year that you guys will end up starting to rotate through the PICU. You'll spend a block of time in our newborn nursery, just doing newborn nursery with Dr. Gibson, who's our newborn nursery physician. And then you'll have 2 dedicated elective blocks with a week of ultrasound in each one of those elective blocks. Okay. And we'll talk more about what the electives can entail for you guys kind of in the future. Towards the end of this time together today, I'm going to show you guys what this block schedule looks like, and we actually let you guys talk amongst yourselves to figure out what order of those rotations is going to work best for you. We don't just randomly assign them to you guys because you guys know what your lives are, what's important to you, what's coming up for you, things that you may have put off this year because of COVID that now you have planned coming up, right? And so we want to make sure that you guys can all work together to find out, okay, what order of these things is going to be the best for each person. And I'll show you what it's a little overwhelming to see the entire block schedule, but we'll talk about what each one of the things mean. Okay. So things to know regardless of your rotation, obviously education, super important, right? That's a big component of this. The work is important, but the education is super important too. And so the regular conferences that you guys are gonna have regardless are gonna be the morning report, which typically during non-COVID times was every Tuesday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. During COVID, we've had to switch it to Tuesday at lunch. I don't know if that's going to go back to normal or not, and that's something that Dr. Stallworth and I are going to have to talk about. But we've actually arranged it now that things have kind of calmed down and vaccination is done for all of our residents. In addition to the CDC kind of loosening up some of the things that were in place to allowing all of our interns to go to each one of the morning reports. So all of our interns go to morning report in person and get to be there with Dr. Stallworth, which is an awesome learning opportunity. I know that all of our USC students are now cringing because they were hoping they would never have to go to another one, at least not be right back up in front, right? Having to answer Dr. Stallworth's questions. Then almost every Friday morning, 3 of the Fridays each block, we have our grand rounds. And so you guys will go to grand rounds in person for that. And then Tuesdays through Thursdays, we have our scheduled didactics, and even some Mondays at this point in time, Mondays and Fridays, scheduled didactics from noon to 1 p.m. We've actually got it set up now so that the interns go every single day to their in-person didactics, because we want you guys to be in person, to see the faculty members, to be able to ask questions, just because it's a better format than doing Zoom. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to get everybody back in together as soon as possible. And then Continuity Clinic typically starts in late August, early September, once we've been able to arrange it. And we'll talk more about Continuity Clinic once you guys get here, okay? So we'll start with awards. So typical workflow for the wards is from 6 to 6:30. You guys will do some checkout. From the night team, you'll get your checkout. From 6:30 to 8:30, you do your pre-rounding, seeing your patients, getting ready for the day. From 8:30 to 9:15 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have our teaching rounds, which is one of our general faculty members come and talk about a topic or talk about somebody who was admitted overnight in person. From 9:15 to 11, we do work rounds. 11 to noon is kind of getting some patient care stuff done. Then you have your didactics. The whole afternoon is really set for follow-up and new admissions. 5:30 to 6 is checkout. And then from 6 to 6, you are off. Please, please, please really be off when you're done with wards. Go home, do some self-care, do some self-guided learning, all that kind of stuff. So wards can be a pretty busy day, and it's pretty go most of the time from 6 to 6. But we'll talk a little bit about the roles of other people, so you're not out on a limb doing it yourself. You'll have a lot of support as you go through those days. So here are some things to expect. Like I said, it's fast paced. We don't have any hard caps on patients, but once you start to get up to 8 patients, then the senior residents start seeing new patients. You guys are going to be given a ton of autonomy during the ward rotations. We expect that you guys are the ones taking care of these patients. You're making the decisions. We want you guys to have that ownership of patients because that's the best thing in the world, is to feel like this is my patient. This is something I've been able to do to help this patient get better and to help this family out. Having that feeling of ownership, I think, is an invaluable thing. And it's not easy to form relationships on wards, but our residents do a great job of it because of that autonomy. And so I think that's one of the things we want you guys to really, really try to take on early on, is to feel like you have some control over things, understanding that you're going to be learning too. There are a lot of ways to do things, and you're going to be learning from different attendings and different senior residents, but really want you to feel like these patients are you guys', okay? You're going to be learning a lot of different ways, and we want you guys to teach and to be taught by others. That's the goal of the inpatient services. All right, what you really need to know, you're going to feel overwhelmed, okay? Just know you're going to feel overwhelmed. It's okay. There are people here that are watching out for you. There are people here that are not going to let you drown. They're going to make sure that you're taken care of. But everybody is different, and everybody expresses that and shows that differently. If you start to feel that way, please let somebody know. Let your upper level resident know. Let your faculty member know. That's why we're here, is to be supportive of you guys, so you don't get that feeling of feeling too overwhelmed. Stress is good, but it shouldn't impair what you're doing and how you're doing with things, okay? Document early, often, and accurately. So put it in the chart. If after you get the comfort and get used to the workflow, documentation becomes a large portion of what inpatient services and what outpatient services are. So just make sure you're documenting to convey your information. Keep people honest. Ask them questions. That's the best part about rounding, I think, every single day is the questions that get asked. And if you have a question, it's likely somebody else has a question. There's nothing that's silly or stupid. We don't have any expectation for you guys coming in, which is great. You guys are supposed to be a clean slate. You're supposed to know absolutely nothing. And that's what we want. We want you to know a little bit. Don't get me wrong. We want you to know a little bit. But ask questions. If you're not sure, don't fake it. You don't fake it till you make it. That's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do the patients any good. Just ask if you're unsure, and let people help you out, okay? And then most importantly, have fun. It seems chaotic, it seems hectic, but golly gee, it can be fun. And the stress of getting things done, things will get done. I think that's the thing that sometimes feels like a big weight, is how am I going to get all these things done? Ask for help, ask other people to help you, and everything will get done. We don't let things go undone here, because we want to make sure we're taking care of patients and families first and foremost. All right. All right, so here are the 5 roles of the seniors: oversight, guidance, teaching, staffing, and care. And those are the biggest things. So they have big roles, but they're there for you guys is really and truly what I want to make sure you guys kind of get out of that. All right, some of you guys will start on our outpatient service, which is very, very fondly known as CHALK. So from 8 to 8:30, it's a lot more kind of easygoing. 8 to 8:30, outpatient clinical care. 8:30 to 12 is patient care, didactics, patient care, didactics. So pretty straightforward in terms of what the workflow of CHALK looks like, but starts a little bit later and ends a little bit sooner for you guys. What to expect. Again, autonomy. You guys are going to be going and seeing patients independently to start out with. We actually have a kind of reverse, oh my gosh, not mirroring, shadowing thing that happens for you guys during your first time of CHALK. So the first day you'll actually kind of shadow somebody else and go see patients with them and help out. And then the second day of CHALK, or second half day of CHALK, what will actually happen is the senior level residents will shadow you so that they can see what you're doing and how you're doing with things, to point out, hey, you could do this, or hey, try this, to help you kind of see where your workflow could be improved. So we do a little bit of a reverse shadowing experience. The faculty are there for you, but you guys are expected to come up with your management plans for patients with acute issues, as well as provide a lot of the education in their well visits. You'll get formal and informal teaching in CHALK. A lot of it happens when you're checking out your patients, but also pre and post clinic. Some expectation of doing some teaching, especially with our medical students. You guys have a lot to offer them. And so taking advantage of a little bit slower environment to do some teaching, whether it's a physical exam skill, teaching them a little pearl about something. For those of you who are USC students, teaching them the things that Dr. Stallworth puts on his tests, all those things. And you guys will learn those things as you rotate through with us and spend more time with us, what can be helpful for them. But you'll see a wide depth and breadth of different conditions. And the same goes for the inpatient setting. I'm on service right now, and I've got to go tap a baby with congenital syphilis when we're done here with one of our interns. So lots of fun. We have all kinds of fun stuff going on up there right now. I think some of the seniors are ready for less fun stuff than what we have going on, but that's okay. So what you really need to know, stay on top of your documentation. I think this is the biggest thing for people when they rotate through clinic is got to stay on top of getting your charts done. If that means staying a half an hour later, stay a half an hour later. If that means coming in a little bit earlier to get it done, come in a little bit earlier. If you work best from home, work from home, but get them done. Don't let them pile up on you, because what happens is it starts to snowball and it becomes this unobtainable thing to get done. So don't make it a habit of saying, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Try to get them done before you leave if you can, or have a plan for getting them done in a timely manner, because otherwise it does start to build up on you, especially as you go through the year. Again, if you're not sure, ask. Policies and procedures in CHALK are changing all the time. It's very likely the first time you do CHALK and the second time you do outpatient clinic, it will look very different to you. And what you're supposed to be doing is going to be very different. Dr. Balance and Dr. Stevenson do an orientation for you guys every block of CHALK, which seems a little bit silly. But it's really important because of all the changes that are happening. A lot of them are based on quality initiatives that are always ongoing too. So if you're not sure, just ask. That's why they're there. If you're not busy, which is not a very common occurrence, but if you're not busy and somebody else is seeing something, go in and pop your head in, check something out, see a rash that you haven't seen before, listen to a murmur you haven't heard before. People are there to help educate you guys, even for patients you're not seeing. But there are abundance of opportunities there. The pace, the population, everything is a cool experience in CHALK, and just know that. All right, I'm not going to talk really about PICU. I'm going to move past that because really you guys aren't going to spend time there early on. NICU, somebody will start in NICU. So from 7 to 7:30, you guys will get checkout from the nurse practitioners. Those nurse practitioners are on overnight. We don't do any overnight call for NICU, so you guys will get nurse practitioner checkout from them. 7:30 to 8:30, you'll do your pre-rounding and patient care. 8:30 to 9 o'clock, one of our pediatric radiologists come and do radiology rounds every day. So you guys will look through all the films that were done on babies, the ones you're taking care of, as well as the ones the nurse practitioner teams are taking care of. You'll do work rounds from 9 to 11:30 with the attendings, 11:30 to 12 patient care, 12 to 1:15 obviously are didactics, and then afternoons are really meant for patient care, and then you guys are out of there by 5:15. So you'll see a lot of different types of babies, from the critically ill micropreemies at 26 weeks all the way to the babies that are full term and just having problems with feeding and growing. You'll learn resuscitation skills both in the delivery room, but also in the NICU. And you'll do that with the nurse practitioners, the respiratory therapists, and the intensivists who are all right there beside you all the time. The NICU can be a scary place if you've never been there before, but you guys have a ton of support literally sitting right beside you the entire time. So you guys will have a lot of opportunity to experience some cool stuff in the NICU. We've hired a bunch of new faculty in the NICU who are super enthusiastic about teaching, and we're very, very lucky to have brought them on. And so the NICU experience is really a really cool one. But you guys will get to do a lot of procedures in NICU as well. So what you really need to know, the computer system can be frustrating, and the reason for that is they are not on the same EMR that we are. They have a separate one called Baby Steps, which can be very frustrating to use because it's not the one you're used to, and you can go a long period of time between NICU rotation and NICU rotation. So sometimes you kind of forget exactly how the Baby Steps program works, but the faculty are there for you, and after you've done it for a few days, you kind of get the flow of it. It can feel a little bit like us and them when it comes to the nurse practitioners team and you guys' team. It's the only service where we have a dedicated nurse practitioner teams and resident teams. And so sometimes it does feel like you guys are getting dumped on. I'm not going to lie about that. It seems like, man, we're getting all these feeders and growers. Why can't we have some of the cool pathology? Or we're getting all the pathology. Why can't we get some of those feeders and growers? So it's both kind of sides of the coin sometimes. But just know that they're there to do a job just like you guys are. If you have questions and you approach them with questions, they are very eager to teach you about things and show you how to do things. And try not to take that us and them mentality, because really and truly, everybody's trying to take care of these young babies and their families. And so if you take it as an approach of, hey, I can learn something from these advanced practitioners, you'll have a much better experience than if you see it as, oh, well, they're a different team than I am. Everybody's part of the same team. Self-motivation is key. Things happen quickly in the NICU, and if you're not on top of things, and if you're not there to be able to do things in terms of procedures, then somebody's got to do them. And oftentimes the respiratory therapist isn't going to wait around for you to intubate somebody. So be active, be proactive about seeking out opportunities when they're there for you guys. Similarly, the nurse practitioners are always there at the bedside. And so if you guys aren't around, they're going to turn to them and say, hey, can you do this for me? So just be aware that part of being in the NICU is making sure you have that motivation to really get out there. And then the last part of it is it can feel isolating at times. It is the one location that is separate from Children's Hospital. So while you'll have your co-residents there with you, there'll be 3 of you guys. You feel like you're isolated a little bit from the rest of the group because everybody else is over here in Children's Hospital or over in the outpatient clinic or on the electives here in 9 Med Park. And so sometimes you can feel like you're a little bit away from the group. But we try to make sure that you guys are getting to didactics, you're getting to conferences, you're spending time together outside of the NICU so you don't feel isolated. But just know we want to make sure that you guys, if you ever start to feel that way, let us know. Because, oh my gosh, we're on 10 minutes left. That's not right. Oh, because I don't have the pro version. That's right. Ashley gave me the generic version to run this today. So anyway, we'll get rid of that. But just let us know if you're feeling that way. Make sure you're reaching out to your colleagues and your co-residents so that you don't feel that way. Okay. All right, newborn nursery, checkout at 7 o'clock, patient care pre-rounding till 8:30, work rounds till 11, patient care documentation, calling consults till noon. You guys can see the rest. So it's a much more calm kind of environment. You get a lot of hands-on experience in caring for babies and their families, a lot of education about lactation services and breastfeeding, and working with Dr. Gibson to do things like circumcisions. Most of them are well babies, but we do have some acuity in there that it doesn't go all the way up to the NICU. And so you guys will spend a lot of time managing some babies with conditions and not just well babies, but majority will be with doing well baby visits. Like I said, you'll spend time with lactation consultants. It's relaxed, but it can be busy depending on the time of year, depending on when the full moons hit, all that kind of stuff. Hematology, oncology, inpatient is very similar to the ward schedule, but it's a little bit smaller grouping of patients, a little bit more severe conditions, obviously, in patients with oncologic needs and severe hematologic needs. You work directly with the faculty members there, but the timing wise is very similar to the inpatient ward service. A steady service that can get busy at times. The faculty that really care about their patients. I think that people that go into hematology and oncology have a special place in heaven. They really and truly care so much about these families and what they're going through and their patients. They are passionate about these kiddos, almost to the point where they're mama bearish, and even that's even Dr. Kramer can be a little mama bearish. So just know that they are very protective of their patients and want to make sure people are doing right by them. And so we hope you guys get that same passion when you're taking care of these kids. We think it's a better experience now. This past year has been the first year we put a senior level resident up there, and I will tell you, each one of the now PGY1 residents has said, I don't know how we did this without a second year resident. So it's a better experience now. You guys have a lot of help, so you're not just running around crazy seeing patients all the time. You get some downtime to admit patients, to learn and do some education from things. So it's really cool. You get to have some really cool conversations with families. You get to sit in on new diagnoses discussions. In end of life discussions. So it can be an emotional roller coaster, but to see the joy that you get in patients at end of treatment or when they're going home is a really fun thing too. All right, we talked about developmental. So you get a variety of different experiences. You'll better understand the tools that our developmental specialists use for those with developmental disabilities. You'll get to practice those things. It is a very relaxed schedule, usually starting here at about 9 o'clock and getting out of here, let's be honest, probably about 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. But it's a little bit of a downtime for you guys to kind of replenish yourself a little bit. All right, and then electives and ultrasound is really a variety of things. Typically, the day starts at 8:30 or 9, but varies. It's mostly patient care experiences in an outpatient clinic, but if you do have consults, you'll go over and do the consults independently before coming back and talking to the faculty member. So you get to function almost like a little fellow during your time, which is a really fun thing. Usually, you'll spend time in our satellite clinics once or twice a month out in the real world, so to speak, of in smaller communities like we talked about during you guys' interview days, and typically you're done by 4 or 4:30. Most of the elective experiences, you guys aren't responsible for any of the documentation, which I think people really like, because then it's just a learning experience. It's just seeing patients. It might be, doing some documentation if you're doing a consult, but other than that, most of the outpatient stuff is just seeing patients. And we'll talk more about ultrasound when you guys get closer to the back here. All right, so this is that chaotic block schedule I was talking about. It's like I said, it's a little overwhelming, right? And so we're going to send this to you guys, and we want you guys to look at it. And what you'll notice is at the top, obviously, what block of the year we're talking about. So 13 blocks, each one's 4 weeks in duration. Block 7 is what we call our holiday block. So that is the Christmas holiday, New Year holiday block of time that is a little bit split up. But what you'll see here listed in block 1 is what rotation someone would be on. And this is a person. So 1A would be one person, 1B would be 2 people, another person, so on and so forth. So it kind of shows you what your schedule would be like throughout the year. Okay, but what we think you guys should do and take some time to do, and this is nothing you guys need to get back to us anytime soon. We'll talk more about it, and actually in the next, I think, time we get together, we'll set aside some time to actually talk about it and see if you guys have questions about things, right? So give you some time to digest this. Some time to email each other back and forth, and hopefully text each other, whatever works best for you guys to figure out, okay, hey, I've got this going on, during this block of time. And when we send this out, we'll send out the dates too, because this doesn't mean anything. If I just say block 1, you don't know what dates those are. You need to know that's July 1st through July 27th to know exactly when these dates are. Okay, so we'll send that stuff to you as well. But take a look at it, start to think about what would be important for you guys, what you guys need, start to talk amongst yourselves a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it next time. Okay. All right. Oh, it didn't come across. Yes, it did. So here's a little fun fact about me. So believe it or not, I was a pro wrestling aficionado. I mean, severe aficionado during the late 90s. I won't tell you how old I was during that point in time, where me and some buddies always got together and watched every single pay-per-view for 3 years. I was a WWE fan and also attended 5 live events. Never sat very close enough to get on camera, though. So anyway, that is a little fun fact about me that you guys may or may not want to know or hold against me in the future. So feel free to do that if you would like to. But what we'll do next is I want to know from you guys, not if you're WWE fans, that's not what I want to know. As this thing starts to tick down and almost be done here, 3 minutes left. Just generally speaking, what are you guys' expectations for residency? Like, what are your thoughts about it? What do you think your role is? Just lay it on me. What do you guys think about that kind of stuff? And just one at a time, if you guys can all see each other. So if you want to raise hand or however you want to go about it so you don't talk over each other, just let me know. It's the worst way to do it. Just throw it out to the group, right? The worst way.
A lot of learning. I think a lot of trial by fire. Kind of expecting that.
Yeah. All right.
I can go next. I would say like a big transition, really taking an initiative that you didn't have to during medical school.
I can go next. Learning to be a physician and just taking ownership of patients.
I'm really excited to work more with the residents. I love them as a medical student. I think they're so phenomenal. And so I'm really excited to be like one of them.
Yeah.
I'm excited to teach other students because I find fun in teaching, and I think that makes me learn better. So I'm excited to do that.
I would say pretty much the same thing, just excited to kind of grow as a physician, make that transition of being able to hide behind, I'm just a med student, so I don't have to know, but now I have DO next to my name, so I kind of have to know. So.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Just figuring out what autonomy looks like and how do you kind of grow through that process and how to ask questions, you know, not that we didn't get experience as that as med students, but just learning what that looks like as a resident.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Oh, go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I guess expecting to work hard, learn a lot, but also really excited to experience all the different aspects of pediatrics. I don't know if everyone else experienced the last year, only being able to try certain different, rotations. So I'm just really excited to try it all.
That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. Definitely a lot more pediatrics than I got in medical school, and definitely taking on a lot more responsibility than we had throughout our years.
Yeah, I would say that's my biggest expectation too, is like, what is this new sense of responsibility going to feel like? And how is that going to impact my daily role as a resident?
Ashley, do you have any expectations? You're not going to be a resident, sorry. You're just going to do this all over again.
Well, I expect to love each and every one of you like I love each and every one of my other babies. So.
Oh, and there's Whit. So I'm probably going to get off here, but no, I'm so excited to hear all the things you guys said, because you hit the big points, right? Responsibility and education. Like those are the things that we expect out of this. We expect you guys